All right, hey everybody, it's me, Sam Stein, managing editor at Bulwark. I am back again at my hotel Wi-Fi situation, and it's holding up okay. It's holding up okay, enough to do these YouTubes. And since Will Sommer, our fearless false flag newsletter writer, has another dandy newsletter, I figured I'd jump on to talk to him about it. Will, thanks for joining me, man. Are you like obsessed with Kash Patel and his girlfriend? You just keep writing about the situation. I'm a little worried about
I can't help it. They keep getting in the news. You know, it's pretty unusual for an FBI director and his girlfriend to be kind of like, you know, to be causing such a ruckus. I don't think there's ever, like literally any example of it. But, you know, here we are.
You missed the Robert Mueller scandals of the 90s when he was just gallivanting around town with his country singing girlfriend, too.
Noted playboy. Yeah.
So I just want to set the stage before I get to the topic of this newsletter. For a couple weeks now, we've been covering Kash Patel's penchant for using the FBI jet to go see his girlfriend, who is based in Nashville and is a country music performer. Patel went to see her and then in Penn State and then went to Nashville. And then we uncovered that he'd gone to Nashville repeatedly. His people responded to you in classic Trump administration fashion, which was extremely calm and reserved / telling you it was the most pathetic story they ever saw. And then the Times reported that, in fact, the Journal reported there's in fact way more travels, including to some like ranch called the Boondoggle Ranch, which is too on point.
The Boondoggle Ranch.
It's like, come on, this is not real. But it's real, although they took down their website after the... Anyways, he's done a lot of travel. So in the backdrop, though, another saga has been brewing involving the girlfriend and MAGA personalities now who are going after her. And can you now pick up where your newsletter starts?
Yeah, so Alexis Wilkins, she's a country music singer. You know, Kash has said she's a country music sensation. I don't know if we're at that level yet. But she's much younger than him. She's 19 years younger. And, you know, I think when people initially see them, a lot of people on the right have said they aren't looks matched. Now, that means they think she's a lot hotter than he is. I'm going to leave it. They say power's the ultimate aphrodisiac, on the other hand. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. But with that said, ever since Kash was sworn in, obviously their relationship, they've been together, I think, for 3 years. There has been a lot of attention, increasing attention on her. She's also kind of a conservative pundit. She does stuff with CPUSA. But especially after Kash started saying Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, there's no conspiracy theory here. And in particular, after the FBI and the DOJ decided to close the Epstein investigation, a lot of people on the right have been saying, wait a minute. Is this lovely young lady on Kash's arm, is she a Mossad Israeli agent out to cover up Epstein's ties to Israeli intelligence? And so this has been this totally baseless conspiracy theory about her that's developed.
Yeah, okay, so I think I can be honest about it. She's much more attractive than he is. And yes, maybe, Will, you are right that power is an aphrodisiac, but
I don't see people that way.
Thank you. Did they meet before he was FBI director? They did, right?
Yeah, in her telling, I believe they met at a party in Nashville. I think sort of a conservative personality meet and greet. I mean, you know, Nashville's that's where it all goes down these days. That's where the Daily Wire is, where Candace Owens is. That's the place to see. And
that's the hub. That's the hub.
Future MAGA spouse.
So the idea is that Kash is like entrapped here. But what is the evidence that Wilkins has any ties whatsoever to Mossad, which is what is what a lot of people on the MAGA right are now insinuating or outright alleging.
There's really no evidence. I mean, besides the fact that they think she's too hot for him. You know, she's number one, she's not Jewish.
She's not Jewish.
She's not Israeli. And basically that she once worked for PragerU, the sort of conservative content mill. And the CEO of PragerU used to be in Israeli intelligence. But, you know, that's really it. You know, it's sort of a third degree connection. Yeah.
Okay. That seems kind of thin. And yet people are out there saying, look, she's entrapped Kash Patel. She's hot. He fell for it. She's actually a Mossad agent. She's manipulating him, which is anti-Semitic, I'll just say. And now she's responding with lawsuits, which I didn't realize was happening. But how many lawsuits are we talking about?
So far, I think she's filed 3 that have become public. There may be more that I just can't find. But basically, she filed one against former FBI agent Kyle Seraphin, who's sort of Kash's nemesis. And more recently, she sued conspiracy theorist guy named Sam Parker. And most importantly, for our purposes, she sued this kind of far-right commentator named Elijah Schaefer, all of whom had some directly and some more obliquely sort of suggested that she's a honeypot spy.
Why is Elijah Schaffer more important than the other two?
Well, he's sort of a bigger deal on the right. He's worked at places like The Blaze and Gateway Pundit. He was at January 6th. And so he's kind of just been kicking around for a while. There's a point where he says, she's coming after me because she can't go after Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes. So she just went one tier below. I don't know if I'd say, let's say she went 4 or 5 tiers below.
It's a big tier. Big tier.
But he's a well networked guy. He's like, I would say, reviled by a lot of his sort of political compatriots. He was fired from The Blaze for allegedly assaulting one of his coworkers. So he's not exactly like a hero. But on the other hand, her lawsuit against him, which was filed in late October and sort of emerged this week, basically there was an article about real Israeli honeypot spies. And he posted a picture of her and Kash and quote tweeted it. And so sort of saying like, tee-hee, I know of a honeypot. But he didn't quite say that. And so she's suing him based entirely on that. And then saying, this guy doesn't like Israel. He's anti-Semitic. So clearly this is he's saying I'm a spy.
Got you. And she's suing, I'm assuming, for defamation.
Yeah, she's suing him for $5 million in defamation, which seems pretty steep to me.
$5 million?
And
jeez Louise.
A cool $5 million. And so as a result, he's really gone on the offensive. He's not taking this quietly. He's done, he's set up the crowdfunding campaign and all this stuff. And a lot of people on the right, the political spectrum, on one hand, we've got the Proud Boys leader, Enrique Tarrio, and he's saying, I don't like this. And on the other, we have Hercules actor Kevin Sorbo, who's kind of just a mainstream MAGA guy. And he's saying, should the FBI director's girlfriend, maybe in kind of a proxy fight here, should he be punishing people for criticizing Israel? I don't know if I like this.
That's the thing, as you said, it was a proxy fight. And this is, I think, where it jumps from like a very lurid and fun and, Real Housewives drama to like something actually serious and newsy, which is there's some breadcrumbs like that Kash is the one who's like helping her with these suits and maybe sort of egging her on to do these things. Is that, and what are they? I'll let you explain.
Yeah, I mean, for one, she doesn't have a history of like filing a lot of lawsuits before all this.
Fine, but yeah, you start fine, but you start at some point. So let's put that aside. Let's just say there are other things.
So her lawyer is this guy who has also represented Kash in defamation cases. He's also the head of the Kash nonprofit foundation, and so basically he's like Kash's go-to lawyer. And the other thing I would say is that these former FBI agents who were fired, they are suing the FBI. And one of them alleges in his lawsuit that basically this right-wing media figure was going after Kash basically Kash said to him, you should sue this guy who's criticizing us and I'll set you up with a lawyer and we can make it happen, get a defamation case going. So that's sort of what a lot of people are suspecting happened here.
Is that Kash basically is like, you should sue these guys calling you a honeypot and here's my lawyer and let me get you situated. And that's where I think the story really jumps into something that is serious. There's enough evidence now that Kash Patel has competing interests going on in his day-to-day life. He seems to be preoccupied with vendettas in social media. That's one. He has a penchant for traveling on the company dime, although he has to pay some of the wages of it, or some of the cost of it, but he seems to be taking the jet a bunch of places like Nashville and Vegas. And then on top of that, he seems like kind of like overwhelmed by these personal vendettas where he's, wants to sue folks that he doesn't like. And all I'm going to say is like, it would be nicer if we had an FBI director who was kind of more focused singularly on the job. And is that a criticism that he's facing at all? I'm certain there's people on the right who are like, hey, like, this is a serious gig. You should probably focus on it.
Yeah, I mean, look, we also have to keep in mind, people on the right basically want to see the FBI destroyed or sort of rooted out the deep state influence. And they're saying, Elijah Schaffer, for example, says, look, man, these guys are all very sexist in this right-wing media world. But he says, look, if you can't keep control of your 19 years younger girlfriend, how are you going to go after these 30-year veterans of the FBI who are arresting Trump supporters and kicking our doors in? And so there has been this sense that Kash is kind of distracted. I mean, this is the FBI director. These guys are supposed to be like kind of receding into the background until it's time to, throw the cuffs on and do the press conference. But instead, I was thinking, it's kind of the most colorful FBI director personal life since J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah. It's like if J. Edgar Hoover lived in like the age of Twitter and was like, pursuing the legal vendettas of his various love interests. It's like a step above it. It's very bizarre stuff. And again, I think I prefer to live in a reality where the FBI director was more focused on the work at hand. There's a lot of stuff going on out there.
I think there's also an interesting legal issue here that, I expect someone like Elijah Schaffer is going to argue basically that Kash Patel is trying to punish him for First Amendment speech. And then we have to look into, how much is Kash Patel involved in this lawsuit? What's the discovery going to look like? Is Kash using any government resources or government time or government jets to set these lawsuits up if he is? What does that look like? I mean, I think potentially this could get pretty ugly for him. And at some point, look, I think Kash Patel is clearly extremely loyal to Trump. And I think for Trump, that is the paramount value that these people can hold for him. On the other hand, if you start this drumbeat in right-wing media that like everyone hates Kash, and then they start saying, gosh, Kash isn't getting rid of the deep state. Kash is messing up left and right. At some point, you have to wonder, maybe that is going to filter back to the White House.
100%. I'm a little bit worried about you, I got to be honest. I think, the more you report on this storyline, the more you're going to be on Kash's radar. And I'm tempted to start a preemptive legal defense fund for you, just an FYI.
Well, we'll throw it up on Give, Send, Go, where these guys all do their legal defenses, where Elijah's doing his. I'm actually already on the run already. This is just a backdrop. So I'm in the wind. I wouldn't worry about me.
Folks, if you heard it here first, Will is on the run, probably somewhere in Canada at this point. He's still going to be writing newsletters for us, so subscribe to them and subscribe to this feed where we get great conversations and content like this. Will, buddy, thank you so much. I'll miss you here in the States.
Thank you. I'm watching that jet like a hawk, though. I'm looking where it's going.
All right, take care.